This is TWiT.
There was an interesting report from the Center for Strategic and International Studies titled Low-Hanging Fruit, Evidence-Based Solutions to the Digital Evidence Challenge. And this is the reactions to this report have been many. Essentially, it turns out that, not surprisingly, James Comey's replacement, Christopher Wray, who's now the head of the FBI, is continuing to threaten legislative action if Silicon Valley companies do not offer up some means for responding to a search warrant. He recently said, quote, "I think there should be room for compromise. I don't want to characterize private conversations we're having with people in the industry. We're not there yet for sure. And if we can't get there, there may be other remedies like legislation that would have to come to bear." He says, "We're a country that has unbelievable innovation. We put a man on the moon. We have the power of flight. We have autonomous vehicles. The idea that we can't solve this problem as a society," he says, "I just don't buy it." So Bruce Schneier weighed in on this. Bruce's blog was titled "New Report on Police Digital Forensics Techniques." And he refers to this report from the CSIS, the Center for Strategic and International Studies. I've got a link to it. He's got a link to it in his blog posting. I have a link to his blog posting and also to the study. But I'll just share the top of this because it gives it some context and sort of put, it's enough. He says, so the study reads, this is the low-hanging fruit. It says, over the past year, we conducted a series of interviews with federal, state, and local law enforcement officials, attorneys, service providers, and civil society groups. We also commissioned a survey of law enforcement officers from across the country to better understand the full range of difficulties they are facing in accessing and using digital evidence in their cases. Survey results indicate that accessing data from service providers, much of which is not encrypted, is the biggest problem that law enforcement currently faces in leveraging digital evidence. This is a problem, they write, that has not received adequate attention or resources to date. An array of federal and state training centers, crime labs, and other efforts have arisen to help fill the gaps, but they are able to fill only a fraction of the need, and there is no central entity responsible for monitoring these efforts, taking stock of the demand and providing the assistance needed. The key federal entity with an explicit mission to assist state and local law enforcement with their digital evidence needs is called the National Domestic Communications Assistance Center, the NDCAC. It has a budget of $11.4 million spread among several different programs designed to distribute knowledge about service providers, policies, and products, develop and share technical tools, and train law enforcement on new services and technologies, among other initiatives. In addition to bemoaning the lack of evidence and help from tech companies, a quarter of survey respondents said their top issue was convincing companies to hand over suspects' data. Law enforcement officials also reported receiving barely any digital evidence training. Local police said they'd received only 10 hours of training in the past 12 months. State police received 13 and federal officials 16. A plurality of respondents said they only received annual training. Only 16% said their organizations scheduled training sessions at least twice per year. So anyway, all of this essentially reduces to the the FBI and other law enforcement agencies are annoyed that they are unable to get everything that they want. That's what they're complaining about, this whole internet going dark problem, while at the same time, based on this survey, they're not nearly making use of everything they can already have access to. So I thought this was useful and important, and it is generating a lot of attention. And it's surprising people that essentially what we're continuing hearing is this drumbeat of, we need absolute decryption of all information. Yet it turns out that there is, in fact, a large body of evidence and digital information which is readily available, not encrypted, and not being taken advantage of. So anyway, I just thought that was Bruce essentially weighed in with the same position that what's happening is law enforcement is not nearly taking advantage of what's available. So maybe we need to worry a little bit less about, or they need to worry a little bit less about having decrypted access to everything until such point as they're taking advantage of what they do have access to.